Hey everyone, Gigas here, and welcome back to another NGS video, where today we're going to be talking about the Winter 23 with a January 11th update. With this, they added quite a bit, but there's also a couple things that they decided to cancel. We'll go over all of that one by one, but let's start off with the seasonal event itself. The first off, as always with seasonal events, you can get seasonal points by killing seasonal enemies or doing the limited time tasks or quests that come with it. But then you can use these points at a seasonal shop with GM here, which is in any of the hub areas. They can exchange it for a number of different rewards. So there's star gems here, special scratch tickets like usual. Then there's the new accessory snow crystal tiara that you can get, as well as the motion change dash skate slash C. And then the more important things, like gear-wise, are all these augments down here. So first off, we have the stat 4s, which all give a 3% potency to a certain type. You can get up to 40 of each of those. So these were already pretty common to get or already cheap in the personal shop. So this isn't like a huge thing, but if you're like a new player or somebody trying to save money and you don't have these yet, it's like really nice to get out of the seasonal shop. There's also these deafness 4s, which currently aren't really useful or that good to just put on your gear, but maybe later down the line you can exchange these or combine them together with these stat 4s like you could in the past to make the fused like def might or def precision kind of like capsule, or you get potency as well as potency floor on the same thing. But then the more important capsules down here are the Gigas 4s, which are like kind of a rare Gigas capsule that you need to be like max level 4 to be able to get. And with these, they come with 3% potency again for a specific type, but also 20 HP. These before were like, I don't know, like a few 100,000 Meseta depending on the ship that you were on, but now they're going like way cheaper because of the seasonal shop. So if you don't have these applied to your gear yet, you can grab these out of the shop to use, or maybe if you're looking to make some money in the future, you can buy some out of the shop and then like put it back later when there's like more scarcity in the shop. But also down here, there's like Soul 4s, which they're like the generic ones, a Ratty Soul 4 and Barty Soul 4. You get 40 of those as well, just like the stat ones. And with these, they're mainly like substitutes if you don't have a specific potency type, because these are only 2.75% potency versus the 3% that you can get out of like a Dust Soul, Nil Soul, or any other Soul 4s pretty much. But then the most important thing down here is the Mastery 4s, and you can get 10 of those in here. This is pretty much like the best capsule you can get in the game, depending on what you're kind of going for. But you get 2.5% potency, 2.5% potency floor, as well as 2.5% damage resistance. So you get 10 of those. With these, they were already like really rare to get. You needed to get like Mastery 3s from captains to be able to craft up to these Mastery 4s, but now you can just get them with 10,000 seasonal points each, which is way easier to get and not really relying on RNG. So like I would definitely snag these, and this like definitely has affected the price for these capsules. They used to be like 2 million or 3 million per capsule, and now the latest that I saw was 500,000 for these things. So you definitely want to snatch these up out of this seasonal shop, as well as maybe even consider doing the same thing as I suggested with the Gigas capsules and buying them up out of the personal shop to be able to. There's also a pretty common thing with these masteries is that usually the mastery tiers are introduced sooner than the other capsules. So some people are saying that we might get a mastery 5 soon. So you might want to save these mastery 4s to be able to make those mastery 5s, which are going to be like most definitely the best thing to use in the game, because they're going to be at least 3% potency, maybe even higher, as well as like having these other stats at that percentage point too. But then like the previous two seasonal shops, there's the Tenebrous weapons in here that still like drop by all the seasonal enemies, but this is like nothing new here. But also, if you complete Giemi's quest line, because she has like a limited time quest where you have to kill like 30 seasonal enemies and get like 10 of Monotite, Duelamite, and Trinite. Once you complete those two quests, you actually unlock another shop here where you can exchange minerals. So this, you can exchange different items here for like Infernium, Blizzardium, a whole bunch of different things. I think the most important thing that everybody should do in here once they unlock it is get these beta reactors. Each one costs 3 hexakite, which is very easy to get. You can get up to 10 of these, which you can sell for a raw Meseta of like 1 million, so 100,000 each. So I would say even if you don't like doing seasonal events, you should at least try to get the Mastery 4s, Gigas 4s, and these beta reactors. And then if you did participate in the last seasonal event and forgot to spend your points, she does have this option here for like the next week to spend the previous seasonal points if you have any left over. But also while you're trying to earn these points to use in this shop, there's a title that you can get where once you get 100,000 points earned in this, you can get a Tenebrous Almati weapon camo. So if you like the look of the seasonal weapons, you can use it later on down the line with any weapon. And you can also get 5-star gems and the title name for Snow. But moving on to the next thing, we have the limited time quest. So here we have the practice drill Sandstorm Windup. So this can be accessed at level 17 or 1184 battle power, all the way up to rank 5 with level 67 or 2972 battle power. And with this, once you complete it for the first time on rank 5, you can get 10 special scratch tickets, and then every time you complete it, up to 15,000 seasonal points. This quest itself, though, once you get inside, is very much like the previous one, except for in Retem or the desert, where you'll be killing enemies, and then they'll drop cannonballs, and then you use these cannonballs against targets wave after wave, until you get to the fourth one, where you'll be facing off against the Snowflake Kelkundo. And this Kelkundo just has special snow attacks versus the original version, and then there's a chance of a Nord Emperapi showing up. And then for the rewards, it's pretty much the same as the last limited time quest, where the highlights are the Tenebrous weapon series, a chance at Mastery 3s and 4s, albeit a pretty low chance, but also some star gem tickets like 5, 10, 50, and even 100 star gems you can end up getting. But if you're going for efficiency with seasonal points, this does give 15,000 at rank 5, but you would still rather go to a combat area like Deck Space or Retem Alnoth instead. Up next, though, there's a couple more field races that they added, one in North Aleo next to the Halfbana Wetlands Ryuker, as well as one in North Retem next to the Maraba Canyon Ryuker. Both of these are board races, and I tried them out, and honestly, I think they're kind of fun to do. They're kind of like a shorter one, so not too long, and with these, they both came with titles that you can achieve if you get a certain amount of points in the races, which give a few star gems each. Then there are two things that ended up getting canceled or just like are missing from the event. First off is in the ARKS records, there was supposed to be one for the Ordinal Tower, rank 7 with parties and solo, but on their website they said that it was going to be canceled for this, and basically there's like a specific issue with the task itself, or maybe some sort of exploit that they're not really saying here, but essentially it is canceled and is no longer available for those that were looking forward to that. However, they also stated that there will be compensation for this cancellation, either like ARKS record badges or maybe even star gems. They haven't said for sure yet, but it'll be announced at a later date. Then for the other thing that we were supposed to get was Randomite across the map. And for some reason on the global version, it has just not shown up yet, even though it was said on the website itself. And they even show that it was updated to give new minerals, maybe like Hexakite or maybe even Infernium. But for some reason, it's just not showing up for anybody on the global version. However, on the JP side of things, and the JP servers, they are getting Randomite just fine. So I don't know what's going on there, and they haven't addressed it yet on the website, even though it's been around 12 or more hours at this point since they've made the update. So it's kind of a concerning thing there. But moving back to what's actually added into the game is another AC scratch, the Quaint Ensemble 23, and with this is a whole bunch of different Japanese wear for both Type 1 and Type 2. Unfortunately, with cast, there is no cast parts this time around, but there's also motion changes, emotes, hairs, and other accessories and whatnot per usual. And I think the hot ticket items this time around have been the floating bookworm. It's been selling for around 5 to 6 mil. The emote Rappy and Me, this one's like a little cutesy one where you're hanging out with the little Rappy. That's been like a pretty popular one, yeah, 7 mil there. And then of course the hairstyles, which have been like 8 to 10 mil. And for a couple of things on the website here, first off, we have the special campaign, use AC, get items. Exactly in the name, use a certain amount of AC, you get a different number of items. That lasts this week only. What's cool about this is that these items used to be JP only for a special collab with Lawson is what it was called, but with these you spend 100 AC to get the stamp, the Rand Tea Time. With 500 AC spent, you get the striped uniform outerwears for both Type 1 and Type 2. For 1000 spent, you get this PR Pose 7 emote, and then for 2000 AC spent, you get the emote Eat Roll Cake, as well as 3 of these consumable roll cakes. These are boosters, pretty much exactly like Rappy Fritters, where you get a 10% rare drop rate, experience earned, and N Meseta earned for 24 hours. I'm not exactly sure if these stack with Rappy Fritters though, but since they're different named items, I imagine that they would. Moving on to the next thing, we have bug fixes for this week, which there's actually a number of interesting things here. There was a bug fix for the timing of some actions from the Doldaris boss, which may not occur at the same time as their attacks, so actually like lining it up. They also fixed a bug with the same boss where players were unable to lock onto the weak point on the back, basically the thing that kind of like juts out during the enraged or the second phase. And then for the next bug, they fixed a thing with Gun Blaze, where the potential would pretty much remove effects with the PP consumption down and the critical hit rate whenever you use the Force class skill PP conversion, which is a pretty big deal, losing that big of a thing. Thankfully, that is fixed for those that use that weapon. They also fixed a bug where lagging may occur when adding preset skills in Item Lab, fixed a bug where the leader comments were not displayed correctly if it was 129 characters or more. And then they also fixed a pretty big bug for the Xbox One version of the game, where if you were using screen space reflection graphic settings, some screen displays became distorted when certain rare enemies appeared. Basically, the thing where black like boxes were appearing when you had this setting on, it would just like pretty much swamp your entire screen. Not exactly sure if this applies to the Xbox Series S or X as well, because I think there's a couple people having problems with that console with this setting too, but I imagine it would fix it for that as well. And then there was one more thing where they fixed a bug where lagging may occur in the salon for people in both NGS and PSO2. That was all for this week's maintenance, but I also wanted to address next week's so small. There will be a new SG scratch ticket, Refine Form 10, on the 18th, with a number of different items here as shown, as well as a new mission pass, NGS Season 16, which should have like similar items with a motion change as well as a mag form, Bitrab Machina. So kind of a slow couple of weeks here until we get into a juicier update on the 25th, but thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.